All right, guys. So here's your review of the Trig word problems test. So really the biggest thing is making sure we get our pictures correct. If our picture is correct, we really should have no issues getting the problems correct. So our triangles have to represent our problem. So the base of a ramp is down here. You've got to understand, here's my base. So that becomes 75. All right, and our just fix this here real quick. Okay. So then our angle of elevation, our angle of depression is always going to go in here. Always going to be in the bottom right corner. So I'm going to put that there. And then what am I looking for? The length of the ramp. Ramps always go up and down like this. So my length is X. It's important we can establish where the angle is supposed to be, where the given side is supposed to be, and what we're looking for. Once we have that, it's basic trig. Cosine of 31 equals 75 over x. When the variable's in the denominator, 2 steps, we multiply both sides by the denominator, which means the x gets eliminated on the right side. And then we get x equals 75 divided by the cosine of 31. You're responsible for putting that into your calculator. And when you do that, you should get 87.50 as your answer. Second one, if a pilot can see a target with an angle of depression of 27 degrees, my 27 starts down here, my angle, and my altitude is 5,000 feet, I've got to recognize my altitude is a line straight up and down. What is the distance from the plane to the target? Think about that. Here's my plane, here's my target. The hypotenuse represents our distance. Okay, it's not distance from spot below the plane, it's plane to target. So now my trig function is sine of 27 equals opposite side, which is 5,000, over my hypotenuse. I multiply both sides by x to get rid of the denominator. And then we divide both sides by the sine of 27. So 5,000 divided by the sine of 27. When I put that into my calculator, I get x equals 11,013.45. Remember, we're always rounding to the nearest hundredth. Okay, and you are responsible to be able to put that in your decimals calculator. Here, a flagpole casts a shadow that's 105 feet long. You should know its shadow's on the ground. So that's where the 105 is. Angle of elevation here is 58 degrees. Once again, angle of elevation or angle of depression doesn't matter. It's always here. What's the height of the flagpole? That's an easy one. That's just straight up and down. The height is always forming a right angle with the ground. So the tangent of 58 equals x divided by 105. This one's a little easier in the fact that we do one step. We multiply both sides by 105. 105 times the tangent of 58 equals x. And 105 times the tangent of 58 is 168.04. Here's our answer. Bottom one here, we have a light beam perched on the top of the wall is shooting downward and an angle of depression of 62 degrees. So it should be 62 degrees down here. Okay. The length of the beam of light is 80 degrees. Think about it. I'm shooting the beam from somewhere up top here, and it's going down to a point. That represents the hypotenuse. If I want to know how high the wall is, I'm just putting my x there in terms of the line that forms a right angle with the ground. So this one also keeps the denominator a number and the variable a numerator, which makes our problem a little bit easier. The sine of 62 equals x divided by 80. We multiply 80 by both sides, and 80 times the sine of 62 equals x. And once we get the 80 times sine of 62, it's 70.64 equals our x. Now on to the final page. Person standing on the ground looks at the top of a building at an angle of elevation of 54 degrees. So once again, notice every angle of elevation, angle of depression is in the same spot. The building's 90 feet tall. And now I want to know how far I'm standing from the building. We don't stand to the top of the building, we stand from the bottom of the building. So my variable is going to be x on the bottom. Now we have the tangent of 54 equals 90 over x. We multiply both sides by the x. Once again, when that variable is in the denominator, it's a two-step problem. We divide both sides by the tangent of 54. So, 90 divided by the tangent of 54 is equal to, so that 90 divided by the tangent of 54 is going to be 65.39. Sorry, I didn't print there. 65.39. All right, and the final one. A ramp is 210 feet long, which means the hypotenuse is 210. Is that the ramp? Down, we're looking for how high the ramp goes, which is our height. So my x goes here, and then my angle of depression is 48 degrees. So we put that 48 right here. There we go. Now this becomes the sine 48. The sine of 48 equals x divided by 210. We multiply both sides by 210. And 210 times the sine of 48 equals x. And 210 times the sine of 48 is 156.06. And there's our answer. These are what the word problems will look like on your test. Good luck, and see you at the test on Thursday.